I believe that the Steelers have to be in, they don't have to be the best defense out there with this schedule, but they got to be much better than what they were in some of the numbers that they had last year. They have to be better. They've got to be, I don't know. We need more interceptions, more sacks, better against the run. Those are the things that the Steelers are going to have to improve on and get some of those numbers up for us to get our win total up, or to get our win total to where it needs to be, so we can either, one, win the division, or get in wild card and have an opportunity to win a playoff game. I think that's what most Steeler fans are so upset about, is that they don't have the opportunity. It's like, yeah, we made the playoffs last year, but I don't think there was many people that thought the Steelers were going to win that game. We hoped, we wanted to win, but was there really that many people out there that just said, oh, yeah, the Steelers are winning this game, no doubt? Yeah, no, there wasn't. And if we're being honest with ourselves, it really hasn't been that way the last several years we made the playoffs. Even the COVID year, when the Browns blew our doors off and scored 28 first quarter points, even then we thought, yeah, we're probably better than the Browns, but I don't know. And then it turned out, yeah, we're going to turn the ball over a million times, blah, blah, blah. That was ugly. Let's not talk about it. It just gives me bad memories. I don't even want to bring it up. So let's get back to these numbers here. So what we did in 2023 as far as defensively, and we'll bring those numbers up here, it just wasn't good enough. It was good enough to be mediocre. And, it was good enough for us to survive. But I think these numbers and where they have to be, I just believe they got to be better. Now, look, the first thing that we're talking about here is rushing. The Steelers got to be a better rush. I mean, for decades, the Steelers were outstanding against the run. They've got to be better. Finishing 19th last year in total rush yards and yards per carry, that's not going to cut it. I'm sorry. It's just not going to cut it. So what I'm thinking, and again, just predictions, I want us to be somewhere between second and fifth, but 3.8 yards per game. If we can break that down and have 1,517 yards total that we give up for the year, the Steelers are going to be doing some really good things on defense, making teams one-dimensional. Last year, 4.3, that's too much. I'm sorry. And I know it got a little bit better as the year went on. It's still too much. But you look at the last game of the season, Buffalo ran the ball down our throat. So I'm just saying, for us to be where we want, 3.8 yards a carry, I believe, is where the Steelers need to be. If we do that, that would have us fourth in the league. That's not something that's not attainable. Some people might think, man, that's a huge jump. Well, it is, but it's only 0.5 yards difference. So you got to be able to make those changes. I think the Steelers have addressed a little bit of that, especially with Peyton Wilson at linebacker position. I think he's going to be a good one. And I think he's a day one starter, by the way. I know a lot of people said he might be a backup. I don't think so. I think he needs to be a day one starter. Can stop the run, make a ton of tackles, and he's super athletic. That'll help. Now, talking about the pass, look, 3,860 yards last year, 7.3 yards per pass. That's not going to cut it, people. Again, it was enough for us to survive. And yes, I understand this is a passing league, but other teams were better. And if other teams were better, why can't the Steelers be better? And I'm not saying they have to be leaps and bounds better, but they do need to be better. So here's my prediction. Look, if we can give up 3,600, just over 3,600, that'd get us to 12th. From 19th to 12th, I think is a big deal. It doesn't seem like it's that many yards over a season, but that's a good number. 6.8 yards per pass. Drops it down. Again, that would get us to 9th. That's dropping it down from 19th. That's a big deal. Now, it doesn't seem like it's a ton of yards, but it is a ton of yards. And again, the difference could be 4th and 1 versus 4th and 3. Same thing with rushing. What do we want to do? We got to stop something. And some of these numbers, especially the yards, look, if the Steelers get up, and there could be a lot of garbage yards in games, you have to account for that too. Because if you're up 2 scores, 4 minutes to go, a team's doing nothing but throwing the football, you're willing to give up some yards there. So some of the numbers and stats can be skewed a little bit. But how many of those games were the Steelers in last year? There you go. That's what I'm saying. How many of games last season where the Steelers were in, where they were up 2 scores, where they just said, just throw the ball down the field. We'll let you drive. We'll let you do that. How many of those were there? 1, maybe 2, maybe. There you go. So these numbers were pretty legit. And if the schedule, like I mentioned, as tough as it is, I would suspect we're in a lot of close games too. So we got to drop those numbers down. Now, here's where I think the Steelers can make some headway. Interceptions, they were 16, or they had 16 last year. That's 12. We got to bump it up. Again, if we get 3 more, that puts us at third. 19 interceptions. That puts us at third in the league. I think that's a number that's very attainable. Look, if we get some solid cornerback play, and let's be honest, we did not have solid cornerback play for the majority of the season outside of Joey Porter Jr. Once he finally actually got into the lineup, on the other side of the field, it wasn't good. If we can get some solid cornerback play, which I think we might, and I'll bring that up here shortly, 3 more picks, again, we'll need some luck on our side with health, but I think that's definitely something that's attainable. Now, looking at the sack numbers, 47, that was 11th. That's a good number, actually. I got to be more, though. Steelers got to generate more pressure. Got to help your secondary and generate more pressure, whether it's blitzing more, whether it's guys just being one-on-ones, just beating blocks, just being better. We've got to generate more. I'm up in that total. Look, 58, that would get us to second. And I know that seems like a crazy high number. But with Watt and Highsmith, Herbig, and whoever they decide to get as the 4th outside linebacker, which I'm hoping is Marcus Golden. But if it isn't, somebody else that can come through and create some pressure. Not to mention, we can get more from Patrick Queen doing middle linebacker blitzes, as well as Peyton Wilson. Look, Peyton Wilson can also rush off the edge, people. He's versatile. He can do a lot. So I just think there's got to be, and also up the middle. I think we needed to ask our guys, as Cam Hayward and other guys, to do a little bit more. Keanu Benton, look for him to have a bigger year. Look, he plays a position that doesn't scream, this guy should have double-digit sacks, but I think he can get 6 or 7, and if he can do that, that's only going to help everybody else. It's only going to help everybody else. And lastly, overall turnovers, 27 last year. That was 9th. Actually decent. That was decent. But let's up it a little bit. If we get 3 more, that puts us to 30, and that's 5th. And if again, there were some bottom feeder teams last year, like the Bears. The Bears figured out a way to be one of the top teams in the league as far as turnovers. If the Bears can do it, there's no reason the Steelers can't do it as well. There's absolutely no reason. But those are some of the numbers that I looked at that I thought, you know what? If the Steelers can just turn it up just a little bit here or there, then we can have something and be successful on this season. Look, that schedule is nuts. It is absolutely nuts. So any little tweak, any little thing that you can do to get better, I think the Steelers got to look to do that.